Hey guys, this is Mrs. Klein.
Hi, it's Miss Burkholz.
We are here today with Lesson 17 podcast entitled The Influence of Islam on West Africa. If you want to follow along in your book, you can be on page 233.
We have our guiding question: in what ways did Islam influence West African society? And for this lesson, we have our vocabulary: Mali, Mansa Musa, patrilineal, and Songhai.
And textile.
Oh, and textile.
Okay, all right, here we go with the introduction, you guys. During the 7th century, the religion of Islam spread quickly through the Middle East and North Africa. In the 8th century, trans-Saharan trade brought Muslim merchants and traders to West Africa. Over the next few hundred years, Islam spread throughout the region, first to Ghana and then to other areas.
The people of West Africa often blended Islamic culture with their own local traditions. Islamic beliefs and customs affected many areas of life besides religious faith.
All right, you guys, section 1 begins the spread of Islam in West Africa. Islam first reached Ghana through Muslim traders and missionaries. The king of Ghana did not convert to Islam, nor did the majority of the people. However, the king did allow Muslims to establish settlements within his empire.
Many Muslim merchants and traders settled in Kumbi, the great market city of Ghana. Over time, a thriving Muslim community developed around the trans-Saharan trade with North Africa.
All right, now talking about Islam in Mali. To the south of Ghana, the Mandi also accepted Islam. Muslims showed tolerance toward traditional religious practices, which helped Islam to spread. For example, West Africans continued to pray to the spirits of their ancestors.
In about 1240, the Mandi conquered Kumbi. They took control of the trade routes to North Africa and built the Empire of Mali.
In 1312, a new leader, Mansa Musa, took over in Mali and became the first West African ruler to practice Islam devoutly.
Like other Muslims, Musa made a Hajj or pilgrimage to the sacred city of Mecca in Arabia. The Hajj was an enormous undertaking covering some 3,000 miles.
Yeah, they're not getting on an airplane at this point in time. All right, Musa reached Cairo, Egypt in July of 1324 after 8 months of travel. A writer from Cairo described Musa's caravan as a lavish display of power, wealth, and unprecedented by its size and pageantry.
After leaving Cairo, Musa traveled to Arabia to visit Mecca and Medina. Musa's wealth impressed the people and rulers of Arabia. He paid in gold for all the goods and services he received and gave expensive gifts to his hosts.
All right, now let's talk about Islam in Songhai. One of the groups within Mali's empire was the Songhai people. In the 1490s, Muslims in the Songhai Empire rebelled. They placed Askia Muhammad Toure, a devout Muslim, on the throne. Toure established and enforced rigid controls to make sure Islam was practiced as he felt was proper.
As Islam spread in West Africa, the people adopted new religious practices in addition to ethical values and learned the 5 pillars of Islam. West Africans also began to celebrate Muslim religious festivals.
Alongside these new customs, West Africans preserved some of their old religious practices. Muslim leaders allowed them to continue religious traditions as long as they did not contradict the 5 pillars of Islam. So, for example, West African Muslims continued to demonstrate respect for the spirits of dead ancestors.
Section 3: Government and Law. One major change concerned the line of succession or inheritance of the right to rule. In West Africa, the succession had traditionally been matrilineal, meaning the right to rule was traced through the mother or female relative rather than the father or a male relative.
After the arrival of Islam, succession became patrilineal, so the right to rule now passed from father to son. A second change affected the structure of government. After West African kings converted to Islam, they started to exercise more control over local rulers.
A third major change was the adoption of Sharia. In many towns and cities, Sharia replaced the customary law of West Africa, which was very different. Although laws were not written, everyone understood what they were and accepted them from long tradition. A chief or king usually enforced customary law but did not give physical punishments.
All right, unlike customary law, Sharia is written law. Muslims believe that Sharia came from God.
Section 4: An emphasis on education. In West Africa, Muslims encouraged people to pursue an education. They built many schools and centers of learning. One key center was the trading city of Timbuktu on the Niger River. Under Mali and Songhai rule, Timbuktu became famous for its community of Islamic scholars and remained an important center of learning until the Songhai were conquered by Morocco in the 1500s.
All right, several universities were built in Timbuktu, the most famous of which was the University of Sankore. The basic course of learning included the Quran, Islamic studies, law, and literature. After mastering these subjects, students could continue their studies in a particular field. Many kinds of courses were available, including medicine, surgery, astronomy, mathematics, and other sciences.
The highest degree a student could earn at Sankore required roughly 10 years of study.
Okay, when travelers and traders passed through Timbuktu, they were encouraged to study at one of the universities. Trade associations also established their own colleges where students learned about the profession of trading in addition to studying Islam. With their love of education, Muslims treasured books. Muslims did not have printing presses, so books had to be copied by hand. Mosques and universities in West Africa constructed large libraries of these precious volumes.
Section 5. The Arabic language. Islam is rooted in Arab culture, so as Islam spread throughout West Africa, the Arabic language did as well. In West Africa, Arabic became the language of religion, learning, commerce, and government. However, West Africans continued to use their native languages in everyday speech.
For Muslims, Arabic was the language of religion. The Quran, of course, was written in Arabic. All Muslims were expected to read the Quran and memorize parts of it. So as West Africans converted to Islam, more and more of them learned Arabic.
Arabic also became the language of learning since the scholars who came to West Africa were mainly Arabic-speaking Muslims. Some of their students became scholars themselves and, like their teachers, they read and wrote Arabic.
All right, finally, Arabic became the language of trade and government. Arabic allowed West African traders who spoke different native languages to communicate more easily and enabled rulers to keep records and to write to rulers in other countries.
Section 6. Islamic architectural styles. Traditionally, West Africans had erected small shrines to honor the forces of nature. However, as they converted to Islam, they began to build mosques.
All right, after his pilgrimage to Mecca, the Mali ruler Mansa Musa wanted to construct more mosques. He convinced Al-Saheli, an architect from Spain, to return to Mali with him.
Using what may have been Al-Saheli's design, architects created rectangular houses out of brick with flat roofs, very plain outside walls, and no windows. Only a single wooden door decorated with a geometric design interrupted the rows of bricks.
All right, Islamic decorative arts, section 7. Muslims used calligraphy or artistic writing and geometric patterns in their decorative arts. West Africans adopted these intricate designs for their own art and textiles.
Geometric patterns are an important element of Islamic art. Geometric designs were also popular in traditional West African art, and they were used to decorate textiles and everyday objects, such as stools and ceramic containers.
Okay, all right. Muslims also influenced the way people dressed in West Africa. All right, you guys, we've got our lesson summary. So in this lesson, we learned about the influence of Islam in medieval West Africa. Islam left a deep imprint on West African culture.
The spread of Islam in West Africa. Traders and missionaries first brought Islam to Ghana in the 8th century. The influence of Islam increased under the rulers of Mali and Songhai.
All right, religious practices. Islam changed West African religion. Although many continue to show respect for the spirits of ancestors and to follow other traditional beliefs, they learned to adhere to the 5 pillars of Islam and celebrate Muslim religious festivals.
Government, law, and education. Islam contributed to different ideas about government and law. The royal succession became patrilineal, government became more centralized, and Sharia replaced customary law in some places. There was a new emphasis on learning, so people studied at Quranic schools and Islamic universities. Timbuktu became a center of Islamic and academic study.
All right, Arabic language and Islamic architecture and decorative arts. Arabic became the language of religion, learning, commerce, and government. New styles of architecture developed as West Africans constructed mosques and changed the design of their homes. They also adopted new geometric styles in their decorative arts.
All right, you guys, that was lesson 17, the influence of Islam on West Africa, with our guiding question, in what ways did Islam influence West African society?
Don't forget those vocab words, you guys. Mali, Mansa Musa, patrilineal, Songhai, and textile.
See you soon.
Take care.